AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Hey, Will. Hey, bud.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. It's 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Jeff Duncan will talk some Saints with us in 15 minutes from right now. It's interesting. Every year when a college football season is about to begin or camps are about to begin, everyone always naturally looks at national championship odds. We look at point spreads that are way too early. We look at conference champion odds. And we always look at Heisman odds, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's the most famous individual award in sports. So we always look at Heisman odds. And a few things that were interesting to me because I noticed an update today for Heisman odds. And Notre Dame quarterback C.J. Carr is the betting favorite at plus 750. Now, I wouldn't have thought that because Arch Manning's back for likely his final college football season. And he is at Texas and has the name recognition and all this stuff. I mean, he was the betting favorite last year at the start of the season. Rough start to the season, but ended up with a fantastic season last year for the Texas Longhorns. So it's interesting to me that C.J. Carr is at the top of the list. And when you look at Notre Dame, they should be favored in every game on their schedule. Their win total over-under is 11.5. Basically, do you think they're going to go 12-0 or 11-1? And the only game that's kind of an iffy is their game against Miami. So that's the one you could look at and go, might they lose that one? Yeah, I mean, look, they got to play SMU and they play BYU, but let's get real. If Notre Dame loses a game other than Miami, they grab the throat. So I kind of look, though, at some of the track record of the Heisman in the last 20 years. So 16 of the last 21 have been quarterbacks. It's a quarterback award. You've had 3 running backs since 2005 win it. Devontae Smith remains the lone wide receiver. And then Travis Hunter is just like a unicorn, right? I mean, he was the two-way guy, so you wouldn't specifically list him as a receiver or a defensive back. You know, that's just it stands on its own. But there's a few things that are also true about Heisman winners when you look for commonalities. Number one is you got to be on a winning team. The average losses for the Heisman winner is 1.25. So Jaden Daniels losing 3 games is an extreme outlier. That's happened twice in the modern era. It's him and RG3. Everybody's like, Mendoza, you're on an undefeated team. Joe Burrow, you're on an undefeated team. You get it. There's only one preseason favorite that has won the award dating back to 2014. So typically, if you are the preseason betting favorite, you ain't going to win it. Condolences, C.J. Carr. It's probably not going to go your way. And then what's another interesting tidbit that I ran across today is just about 2/3 of the winners begin the season ranked outside the AP top 5. So what it says is you have an opportunity over the season to build your campaign instead of, like Arch Manning, where you have a super high expectation and you have to maintain that level of expectation or build upon what feels like an unrealistic expectation. As if I may tangentially opine, it's also why I think it's very difficult for players to repeat. Reggie Bush wins the Heisman. Well, how are you going to replicate your amazing season? Matt Leinart wins the Heisman. How are you going to replicate that amazing season, right? So, Leinart winning it in 04. He came back. Reggie, of course, won it in 2005, I should say. Tim Tebow won it as a sophomore in 2007. Jameis won it as a redshirt freshman in 2013. But, how do you build upon a Heisman season? You have to be even greater than you were and outlast other risers. You're just judged by a different standard. So when I look at players that might be in the mix, I'm certainly looking at quarterbacks, and then I'm looking for value, who's probably going to be ranked outside the top 5 in the preseason and who has a chance to win 10 or 11 games, basically. And so you look at C.J. Carr, who is the betting favorite, but again, for all the reasons we just said, not likely to end up there. I said not impossible. I said not likely to end up there. There's Arch, and there's Julian Sayin, and there's Dante Moore, all the usual suspects from those programs. But again, you're talking about teams that are going to start the preseason top 5 and are going to have massive expectations. They have the name brand. I could give you Josh Hoover from Indiana, and he's plus 1,500. Dynamic player from TCU. He's replacing Fernando Mendoza, and Mendoza proved, you can be a one-year guy transferring into the place and win the Heisman Trophy. You can make that transition seamlessly in this era of college football. But again, I think Indiana's probably going to be a preseason top 5 team. So I'm looking kind of outside that top 5. And I got 3 names and then a long shot. Number 1 is Darian Mensah. Now, we know Darian Mensah's story. He was at Tulane, then went to Duke, where he won the ACC last year, and now he goes to Miami. Now, the asterisk is Miami may very well start in the preseason top 5, so that may disqualify him there. But Mensah is plus 1,100. And they're in the ACC, and Miami really has no competition in the ACC. I know Clemson is there in the conference. I'm not assuming Clemson's going to be great this year. Miami does play at Clemson, and they have a game at Notre Dame. So there are a couple of marquee spots on the schedule where Mensah will have the eyes of the conference on him and will have that opportunity. Mensah is one to keep an eye on. If you paid attention to any of our coverage last week at SEC Football Media Days, you probably know that I'm going to say John Mateer. So this was a playoff team a year ago, one of the best defenses in college football, and Mateer, in the first month of the season, had become the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. And then we know what happened. He hurt his hand, probably came back too soon against Texas. Was awful that day, 20 of 38 for 202, no touchdowns and 3 picks, and that really tanked his Heisman chances, and the offense just never got off the ground the rest of the season. But if the Mateer we saw at the first month of the season is the Mateer we see for 3 months this year, and Oklahoma's back in the playoff, then John Mateer could certainly be worth holding a ticket at plus 2,500. And you can call it a homer pick, but Sam Leavitt checks all these boxes. Going to be outside the top 10, or preseason top 5. Capable of building his campaign in an offense where he's going to put up stats, going to play a lot of national games where he'll have the opportunity to be seen by voters, not going to be the preseason betting favorite. If you think of it like if you're betting a golf tournament and you want to bet, you want to take whatever your total bet is and divide that bet among 5 or 6 or 7 tickets that your players that you think have a chance to win, and if one of them cashes, you're going to make money. That's what I'm thinking at looking at the Heisman. Well, Sam Leavitt at plus 2,500 is a ticket worth holding because could LSU go 10-2 in Lane Kiffin's offense and he puts up giant numbers and you're talking about a playoff team with some marquee wins? Yeah, especially with Bama, Texas, at Tennessee, at Arkansas in November. Great way to finish strong and impress voters. I'm not predicting it for Leavitt, but it's worth holding that ticket. And the wild card that I'll give you is Damon Williams. Now, we know the Damon Williams saga at Washington and how it looked like he was going to enter the portal and ultimately stayed, all that sort of stuff. What maybe has gotten lost in all that conversation is how dynamic Damon Williams was last year. Now, I understand he plays in Seattle, Washington. We don't pay a ton of attention. But Damon Williams last year threw for 3,000 yards and 25 touchdowns. He ran for another 6'11 and 6. So you're talking about a dude that put up nearly 4,000 yards of offense and over 30 touchdowns. And he'll have another year in that offense. And then there's the schedule. Like, just process this, all right? Just process this as I say it. This is Washington's schedule. They open up at home against Washington State. They're going to play the Apple Cup in the opener. Then they'll play Utah State. Then they'll play Eastern Washington. Then they're home against Minnesota. Can we all agree they should be 4-0? Yeah. They go to Southern Cal. I'm not saying that's easy, but it's a team they're familiar with. They were conference rivals in the Pac-12, and now they're conference rivals in the Big Ten. And I don't know how good SC is going to be this year. Then they're home against Iowa, who's going to have to cross 2 time zones to come play them. Then they're going to Purdue, who was winless in the conference last year. Yes, they got to travel 2 time zones to go play Purdue, but again, it's a team that was winless in the conference last year. Then they get an open date. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, then they get an open date, and then they go to Nebraska. Maybe that's a tricky spot, but it's coming off an open date. Then you're home against Penn State, Matt Campbell's first year, and they got to travel 3 time zones to go play in Seattle. And then you're at Michigan State, who was awful last year. And then you're home against Indiana and at Oregon. I mean, Washington might be 10-0 going into the final 2 games. Maybe 9-1 going into those games at home against Indiana and at Oregon. Damon Williams at plus 5,500? It's worth holding that ticket because that's a team that I think is going to be playing playoff meaningful games in November and will have a shot against Indiana and at Oregon to take a swing with voters watching, put on a show. I'm just saying, at plus 5,500, you may not get a better number on Damon Williams than you're getting right now. Because he goes out the first month of the season, they start 4-0, and he puts up massive numbers. That number's going way, 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 way down. Just a few names. Keep an eye on. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Evamore, E-V-A-M-O-R, Evamore.com, Evamore.com, E-V-A-M-O-R, Evamore.com. Actually, matter of fact, I got a text on the show text line just a bit ago. It was, hang on, I'll tell you his name. I want to shout him out because he sent it to me. Alex Hebert. Shout out to Alex Hebert. Sent me a photo at the beach of his Evamore bottle in the sand with the waves off in the distance. That's the way to do it. Heat index is up there. It's hot. You want to stay hydrated, drink Evamore. Natural artesian water, a Louisiana product available at great retailers all over the country and online at Evamore.com. E-V-A-M-O-R, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We'll wrap up the show today with our locks and what we learned. I do want to talk about the Lolo Jones saga if you haven't heard the latest. We'll get to that here in about 15 minutes. Let's knock out a break. When we come back, our buddy Jeff Duncan will be here on the Eva Saints camp. Stick around.
After further review.
Big hat tip to my buddy Jareth Knockan and the great staff over at Glow Resources. Just a couple of weeks ago, Baton Rouge Business Report Top 100 list came out. Top 100 private companies in Baton Rouge. Glow Resources made that list yet again. Hat tip to Jareth and the great staff over at Glow Resources. And quite honestly, when your business is helping businesses improve by finding the right people, naturally it would stand to reason your business should be improving as well, which Glow Resources does every single year. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. By the way, they're also really fun to work with. Like, walk into their office right there on Perkins Road near Pennington. It's Perkins and Quail Oak. Walk into their office and you'll get it. Just from the decor, the style of the office. They have like a graffiti wall in there. The kitchen's so much fun. Like, they turn the top floor into like kind of like a party area, party club, not like a club, but like a party area. They're awesome. It's Glow Resources. If you need the right people to help your business thrive, Glow Resources can help you find it. GLO, glowresources.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Well, she ain't in the cars or pickup trucks, but if it runs like...
Look, he's got an even keel temperament, and that was on full display last year. And look, it doesn't mean that inside he wasn't churning and grinding and upset, but stayed the course. It was impressive.
Mickey Loomis talking about second-year Saints head coach Kellen Moore. 6 wins in his maiden voyage. What do you do for an encore? Let's ask Jeff Duncan. He's on Twitter at Jeff Duncan _. good enough to join us here on the eve of Saints camp. NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune. Jeff, we always appreciate it, man. How are you?
Doing good, Matt. Good to hear from you, buddy.
Man, it's our pleasure. Thank you. What's your thoughts on, just generally speaking, Kellen Moore entering year 2?
Well, he definitely seems more comfortable and confident, I'd say, Matt. And I guess that's to be expected, right? He's going into year 2. He's got most of his, or all of his staff back from a year ago. Players know what to expect from him. He knows kind of the routine. I think he's said today, he just noticed the practices are more crisp, everybody's more comfortable, and I think he's starting to kind of grow into his own skin a little bit, and we're getting to see a little bit more of an identity with Kellen Moore as a head coach, which none of us really knew about this time a year ago.
If you can, it's been 20 years, but can you comp Kellen Moore to Sean Payton in the offseason after their first season as a coach? I understand Payton went to the NFC Championship game in his first season, but just what maybe it feels like going year to year?
Yeah, look, I think Mickey Loomis kind of talked a little bit about that today, where both instances, Mickey Loomis was kind of the mentor for both those guys, and they leaned on him heavily. And he said, there are a lot of similarities to year 2 in that they didn't need as much mentorship from him. They both in year 2 started to kind of find their way, and I think be more confident in themselves and not have to ask as many questions of him. And I think we're seeing that from Kellen Moore. He seems more comfortable with us in the media. Not that that's the parameters, or the barometer, I should say, but he certainly feels more confident. And I think that will transfer to his team as well, because they had questions as well, Matt. Everyone did a year ago, and I think that confidence from the head coach is important.
Yeah, media is part of the job. I mean, you're an NFL head coach. It does matter how you project and portray yourself that way. I'm glad you went to what Loomis said today. Did anything else from Mickey stand out today when you were sitting there in that presser?
Yeah, I think he feels. Mickey's always glass half full guy. He's admitted that, but I do think universally. And look, Matt, let me just preface this. I mean, this is year 26 for me. This is the time of year when optimism reigns, right? Yeah. Everybody's undefeated. We hear it all around the league. But I do think genuinely there was a very positive vibe around the team. And I don't think it was manufactured. I think it's real. Now, are they good enough? I don't know. But I do think the culture that's been established on Airline Drive from Kellen Moore and his staff, I think it's important to note he's got a good staff, that the players have bought in. Now, they got to show progress. I mean, I think they've got to win more games. That's the proof in the pudding. But so far, so good as far as buying in from the roster, because there were a lot of veteran guys here like Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, that I'm sure we're waiting and wondering, and I think he's got them on board.
He's Jeff Duncan, NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, at Jeff Duncan _ if you want to give him a follow. All right, I'm asking just your opinion here, not what players say, because I know what players and coaches are going to say. What do you think is a realistic expectation for this team?
I think for them to be in the hunt in December for either the division title or a wild card berth is very realistic, and I think it's a realistic expectation, especially given the division itself. It's just hasn't been a very competitive division the last few years. The teams winning the division right around 500, sometimes below 500. If this team isn't in December alive for some kind of postseason berth, I think it's a major disappointment, barring, of course, a major injury. Look, everything, in my opinion, Matt, relies on Tyler Shuck taking a step. I think he's got to become the guy this year. I think they believe he will. All signs point to that. But make no mistake, I mean, this season rests on his shoulders and his right arm. And how he fares, I think, is going to tell us how the Saints fare.
How much better do you think the offense will be, considering, Jeff, look, they made a big investment to give Tyler Shuck the toys in the chest to go be good.
Yeah, and I think even more importantly, well, I shouldn't say more importantly, but as important, is it now opens up the playbook for Kellen Moore. I mean, I can tell you this, talking to people in the building a year ago, I think Kellen Moore felt he's never going to say this publicly. It's not how he rolls, but he felt handcuffed. I think he felt handcuffed when Spencer Rattler was the quarterback. And I think once Tyler Shuck got under there and they saw the difference, that he was waiting a tick longer for those plays to open up, and they saw some of the plays he was making, I think they said, let's go all in on this kid. And they went all in this offseason, gave him the toys, bolstered the offensive line. And I think we're going to see a lot more versatility, multiplicity in this offense. Game plan to game plan, week to week, it's going to be a little bit different because he's got the athletes now at the perimeter positions, at least more than they had a year ago to kind of open this thing up.
Yeah, respect to Ronnie Bell and Samori Toure, but I'll take Jordan Tyson on the outside. A couple more minutes here with Jeff Duncan, NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune. You mentioned you're 26. God, Jeff, you are so old. I mean, just, my goodness, 26 years on this beat, right? I mean.
Maybe. Hey, it made me feel better today when Loomis was saying it's his 40th training camp. That's the only person that thinks it's older than me in the building.
This will be my 20th season covering LSU. It goes in a blink, man. But is there, when you go out to camp, like, do you look for position battles in camp? Like, what's interesting to you there?
No, I'm a big body language guy, and kind of interpersonal relations. Like, I like to see how the players react. I'll be watching Tyler Shuck keenly to see if he has really put this team, in his grip. I mean, Drew Brees was the master at it, right? We got to see a first ballot Hall of Famer operate, so I know what it looks like when you're the leader of the team. And I think this team is wanting him. They're buying into him. I've talked to guys, this whole offseason, the little passing session he had out in California. That was big for a lot of players. And I think they want him to be the dude. And I want to see if he can transfer that to the practice field and in the meeting rooms, because these veteran guys are dying for someone to take control of his team.
It's interesting. We've talked about the young guys, Tyler Shuck, but the veterans have been such an interesting part of this offseason. Cam and Alvin, DeMario going to the Jets. Taysom obviously isn't going to be back. What about that dynamic, Jeff? What are you expecting the veterans on this team, some that are still lingering and some that are gone?
Well, I think it's going to be – I'll tell you what will be watching, and this is just a little inside baseball thing for me, Matt, but I think it's important. Who are going to be the team captains on this group? Because you've lost some guys, some stalwarts like, DeMario Davis. Blake Grupe, of course, left, and also, but there's going to be a changeover, I think, in the leadership as we see this team transform from that old guard we talked about. Cam Jordan's in his last year. He's going to be going out the door here. And I just think we're going to see some new faces become team captains. Maybe someone like Caden Ellis from out of town. Maybe even a guy like Chris Olave, who's never been a team captain. Will he be elected by his peers? Those things are important in the locker room because there's been a certain number of voices that have carried this team all the way back to Breeze. It's been DeMario, Cam Jordan. Those are the guys that have led this team. I think we're going to see some new voices emerge, and I think it's going to be reflected in who's voted team captain.
Saints will get it cranked up on Wednesday there on Airline Drive. He's Jeff Duncan, NOLA.com, the Times-Picayune, at Jeff Duncan _ give him a follow. We always appreciate the time, man. Enjoy year 26.
Thank you, Matt. I'll see you down the road soon, brother.
It's our pleasure. That's Jeff Duncan. That's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com. Speaking of Drew Brees, of course, going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame here in just a couple of weeks. And, of course, he's our Hall of Famer over at Parrish Construction and Roofing. We're thrilled to announce that partnership with Drew Brees. Took a long time to get that thing across the finish line. Drew vetted all of us. He vetted the business, but he wanted to be partnered with us in what we're doing. And, of course, our Austin, Texas office, that makes a lot of sense as well, being that that's his hometown. We just appreciate so much that partnership with Drew Brees. And, of course, we appreciate all of you naming Parrish Construction and Roofing the best roofing company in the best of Baton Rouge, the best roofing company in the best of Ascension. We do our best to treat people right. We know we're not perfect, but we're going to do great work at a fair price, and we're going to treat you right. It's Parrish Construction and Roofing. Roof repairs, roof replacements, commercial, residential, gutters. We do soft wash as well. If you need to soft wash your roof, your home, your hardscape, we can do that for you. Parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing. All right, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. I do want to take a quick minute and talk about this Lolo Jones story. I shared it last night on social media. Candidly, it is like a 25 to 30-minute read. It is a long read of a really long, detailed investigative piece. So I will do my very best to just condense and summarize it to what you know. But a very popular former LSU athlete is in the midst of what is going to be very likely a very big, very messy, very public Olympic scandal. We're going to talk about it next on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You know where they are. Siegel Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every single day to buy local and shop local and bypass the big box store. That's probably the most important thing that I can say when we talk about Clegg's. Look, Clegg's has been around for 6 decades. So if you're looking to buy flowers to beautify your outdoor space or privacy shrubs, maybe you need mulch or soil, bag or bulk, whatever it may be, they got you at Clegg's. And look, whenever they get a new shipment of something in, they do an awesome job of posting it on their social media so you can always see what new shipments they have. So get on by any of the Clegg's Nursery locations and support a great local business that supported our community for 6 decades. Buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up her land. She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
So I think I took over for the Otter.
How? What do you mean?
Oh, we did hour locks yesterday,
We did, yeah.
and I gave you an in-game under.
You did give us an in-game under. Yeah.
It went to 15.
It did. The total you gave out was 10.5.
We'll try better today. I got some WNBA tonight, Muse.
All right, look, that's your wheelhouse.
I
your
got some
sweet spot.
WNBA parlay action coming straight up your donkey.
It's your hot zone.
Nobody knows Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham like this guy.
So the Indiana Fever, basically, is what you're saying.
Really just the only people I see on Twitter.
Okay.
That's it. And then Sophie Cunningham was a ring girl at the UFC fight where Conor McGregor fought for a minute and 9 seconds. And then Dana White was asked, like, when did that come about? He's like, an hour ago when she said, I want to do that. He's like, you're doing that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, just ask.
You think if I ask Dana, he'll let me do it?
No, I don't.
Why not?
You're not an overly attractive blonde.
That is your opinion, okay?
No, that's a fact. You don't have blonde hair.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't. You're bald. And your beard is dark.
Some of this up here is fuzz, which looks blonde-ish. In the light, it looks blondish.
No.
It's just your opinion, man. It's just like your opinion, man. All right, hour locks coming up here in 10 minutes. Man, from something funny like that to something actually really serious and harrowing and sordid. I posted this on social media last night, and it is jarring. There is a report. It's no mainstream media has picked it up yet, at least not that I've been aware of. But it's on Substack, and it is a very lengthy investigative report involving former LSU athlete and multiple-time Olympian, both in the Summer and Winter Olympics, Lolo Jones. And the author wrote this under a pen name. I would assume so as not to reveal their identity, but it's very clear when you read this that whoever wrote this is someone with a long history of investigative reporting. You can take my word for it. Go read it yourself. Just understand the quality of writing, the level of detail. It is impressive. And none of this is guesswork. Like, they have receipts of public information that they put together here. Like, on-the-record conversations and records that are public record. And the title of this is The Lolo Jones Decision, What USA Bobsled Cannot Explain. I shared it on all my social media. If you're interested in go reading it, just know that it is going to take you, depending on how fast of a reader you are, probably more than 20 minutes to read through this. Okay, like, it is a long, long read. But the bottom line is Lolo Jones was competing to try to make Team USA in the bobsled for the most recent Winter Olympics, and she was not chosen, despite the fact that her times were better than the other competitors that were selected. Now, I don't know bobsled. I don't know Olympic qualifying. I'm ignorant. I don't know any of that stuff. It kind of would stand to reason that, well, if your time is the best, you should make the team, right? That's apparently not how it works. You put out your resume with all your push starts times, all this stuff, and then the committee selects the team. And so despite the fact that Lolo had the better time, she didn't make the team. And so then you start to ask why. Well, all of that is a conversation that can be had, and they go deeply into this about a lot of the corruption within the selection process, and it may sound like sour grapes, but if you actually go into it, you realize, oh my God, like, there are way too many dots that are connecting here that speak to this being absolutely hideous. But the part that I think is going to get the most people's attention is the fact that during this qualifying process, Lolo Jones was severely injured and then was denied care by the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, the USOPC. The write-up reads, their sled testing broke her back. A new sled, a different riding position, and then brutal lower back pain, numbness, leg instability, foot drop, loss of bladder control. I'm reading. Any medical professional reading those symptoms recognizes cauda equina, I think I'm saying that correctly, the kind of spinal emergency that sends emergency room patients into surgery the same night. She went to the Olympic Training Center Sports Medicine Clinic. Their trainer, Ben Town, had scheduled her a massage, the first step in treatment and diagnosis under OPTC's own protocol. The appointment had been canceled. No written explanation. Nobody at the USOPC has ever provided one. Jones was told John Faltis, a top official at the USOPC medical clinic, had canceled the treatment because she was only entitled to one massage per week and had already received one that week. Y'all, Lolo Jones, I'm going to be very crude when I say this way, okay? I'm going to say this in a very crude manner, not to be funny, but to hit the point. She was literally pissing herself in front of an official, and they would not give her help. Like, she is urinating down her leg. She was incontinent. She had lost control of her bladder. It is so jarring to read through all of this. And, like, this is the same organization with the Larry Nassar scandal and all the Olympic scandals and the USOPC scandals we've heard and read about throughout the years. Maybe it just hits home a little more because it's this famous, beloved former LSU athlete. And oh, by the way, with all of that, she raced anyway and still put up better times. She gets home and she pays for an MRI herself. The MRI revealed herniated disc with a disc bulge, tears in her L3, L4, and L5 vertebrae, and spinal fluid leaking out. Surgery followed. She literally broke her back. Yo, like, I am appalled by this when I read this last night. I posted on all my social media. I tagged the CEO of the USOPC begging for an explanation. Like, I get it. I'm just Matt in Baton Rouge. Like, I'm not Tom Rinaldi. I'm not trying to call out Tom Rinaldi. I'm just saying, like, I just have my platform. Somebody has got to be, from the USOPC, has got to be willing to step up and answer for this. And if you think that it's just this one person on a Substack writing this, Lolo Jones has subsequently gone on to social media where she had been absent for months. And apparently, like, this is the reason why. I have reached out to Lolo, by the way. And I think there's clearly some legalities that have to be worked out. But I think she is going to come on the show at some point. We'll talk about this in whatever detail we can. But she's been on social today, and some of the stuff that she's pointing out is effectively validating a lot of what is in this report. She wrote, I'm reading some of the, and she quote tweeted my tweet in some of this. She said, "This is why I've been off social for so long. For months, I couldn't talk about this. Please, someone help stop what they are doing at USA Bobsled." She went on. "I was never given an there was someone who's a personal trainer who replied to her, basically defending her, and said, or an athletic trainer, I should say. She says, "I was never given an X-ray or an MRI. I wasn't even allowed to use the ice bathtub to numb the pain. I did not know my spine was seriously injured. I just knew I was in pain. That's why I got back in the bobsled. Had my pilot hit a wall, I would be paralyzed today." She ats the USOPC CEO and says, "And USA Bobsled put me at major risk and then penalized me for the injury they gave me testing bobsleds for the team." There's more. She writes, "USA Bobsled coaches have no accountability. They claim they made zero mistakes in their athlete selections, even though their numbers say otherwise. They've bragged they've never lost a Section 9 arbitration. That doesn't prove they're right. It proves the system is impossible for athletes to challenge. No summer or winter Olympian has ever won a Section 9 in over 20 years. The message is clear. Athletes have rights on paper, not in practice. The Olympic system protects its coaches more than its athletes." Look, I know, and there's more. I know that most people don't care deeply outside of the Olympic months about Olympic sports. I don't think this is about an Olympic sport. I think this is about, especially here, someone who is beloved, from Iowa, came to LSU, was a champion hurdler, became a world champion. We all know what happened in Beijing in 2008 when she clipped the hurdle, when she was the best hurdler in the world. But she continues to live here. She trains at LSU. She lives in Baton Rouge. She loves the community and supports it. And this is someone who I think people here love as well. And she's famous, right? I mean, she's done like Celebrity Dancing with the Stars and what's the Big Brother and a lot of that stuff. So, I mean, she's super well known. And because she is who she is with as much notoriety as she has, maybe this will bring a lot of attention to this because, my goodness, you were talking about a world-class athlete literally being a wall hit away from being paralyzed because of her injuries that they would not give her any type of medical treatment for. Stunning. If you want to read it, again, I tagged the article, the investigative report, on all of my social media. But my hope, sincerely, if I have an ask, it's like go retweet it or share it. And maybe, just maybe, somebody with a bigger platform picks it up and they're able to put enough pressure on the USOPC to answer for this. Stunning. I mean, I was in the grocery store last night reading this on my phone. Just like, if someone walked by me, they're probably like, "What's wrong with him?" I mean, my mouth was just wide open reading this last night. Stunning. But, man, good luck to Lolo Jones. Prayers in her recovery, certainly. And here's hoping the USOPC does the right thing by her, because clearly they have not done that to this point. It's after further review. We'll wrap up next.
AFR.
I'm going to get out of here and head home. And we have some friends who are in town from California, and they're coming over tonight for dinner, and their kids are coming over, and they're going to swim. And you'll have a fun night. And I was thinking about it. It's one of the great things about having having a pool is it's like this central communal piece of your home. When family wants to come over, or for holidays or birthday parties, or you have friends from out of town, you swim and have dinner out by the pool. It's just like I've never had a pool before. I'll tell you, I'll never live at a house again without a pool, especially when it's 110 degrees outside. If you ever thought of putting in a pool, man, Duplessis Pools. Let it be your first call. Derek Duplessis and his staff, they're awesome. Back-to-back years, named a top 50 pool builder in America by Pool and Spa Magazine. The only Louisiana pool builder to earn that designation. DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. Love telling you about our friends over at River Parish Contractors. RPContractors.com. RPContractors.com. River Parish Contractors, for a quarter century now, they've been helping you with those industrial construction projects with an exemplary safety record and great local service. It's River Parish Contractors. RPContractors.com. RPContractors.com. Their work is done from Baton Rouge to Chalmette, and of course, their facility right there in Reserve, Louisiana. They do incredible work. Stable, quality company. Their practices put in place are above and beyond, and safety is at the core of what they do. They scored a 99 on a Fortune 500 company safety audit. Safety, reliability, it's River Parish Contractors.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Our Locks. Okay.
I we don't have an open or anything.
What the hell was that, Muse?
Yeah, we don't have like an open for it.
What are you, Animal from the Muppets?
No. It's not me.
You Timmy from South Park?
Timmy!
What was that? It's crazy. Okay. I got my parlay. Muse, how did we do last night? Start there.
Well, you're over missed.
Yeah.
You're under missed. You're in game under there in Philly's game. That missed. Paul got rained out, so Paul was 0-0-0. So nothing there for Paulie.
Okay.
And
You didn't lose.
Yankees Red Sox parlay hit.
Okay.
Both the Yanks and the Sox took the dubs last night.
All right. Well, Muse, you hit. What do we? Ooh, there's a profit boost on this.
Ew.
Let's go.
Gotta love a profit boost. Take advantage of all of them.
Doing it. All right, what you got, Muse?
Yeah, so
Start us off.
we're gonna head back out to Sacramento. Red Sox A's. This is one of my favorite prop bets to play. A no-run first inning bet. You're getting great value here between Jake Bennett and Gage Jump, coming back plus 105. No run scored in the first inning. Bennett's been awesome since the Sox called him up, and Gage Jump has allowed just 2 runs in the first inning in 11 starts. So getting it plus money feels like a bit of a bargain here.
All right, Paulie, what you got?
Just taking a shot out there. I'm going to go Giants Brewers. I'm going to take the under 7.5 at minus 123.
Okay.
Scone.
We got a
drop the parlay.
WNBA money line parlay.
Oh, Lord.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Give me the Washington Mystics.
Okay.
They're at home against the Connecticut Sun. That's minus 247. We're going to link it up with the Minnesota Lynx.
Oh.
Taking on the Toronto Tempo. Did you know the Toronto Tempo was a thing?
I didn't
Me
know.
either.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
The Minnesota Lynx are minus 1760
There
on
we
the money
go.
line.
1760?
This is professional basketball.
What?
This is professional basketball. The Indiana Fever, they're on the road against Flaugier and the
Gotta
Seattle
be a
Storm.
typo.
Nope. Minus 382.
All right. I'm sorry. That was
Indiana Fever.
Fever.
It's
Okay.
Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham,
Yep.
if you're a WNBA fan, a real fan, you know them. Don't know anybody else on the team, but know them. And the Las Vegas Aces against the Portland Fire, they're minus 770.
Oh, my goodness.
So that 4-team money line parlay, Muse, a four-team money line parlay coming back at plus 111.
Hey, we got it to plus money.
Throw that with the 50% profit boost over at DraftKings.
Oh, yeah.
And you're plus $1.68.
Look at this.
Give me some of that action right there. Washington, Minnesota, Indiana, and Las Vegas. Throw that profit boost on there. Coming back at plus $1.68, and let's get rich tonight, y'all. Shout out to WNBA.
1760.
Shut up. ARCCO, 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 and Arco is their name. Oh. No one over there has
love it.
No one over there has said anything about it yet.
It's so good.
Arco Power Systems. Industrial Generac generator power. The silly jingle that we just made up is silly, but what they do is very serious. As a matter of fact, quite literally during storms and natural disasters, like the National Guard has picked up Arco installers and brought them to disaster sites to get generator power active and going. It's Arco Power Systems all over the Southeast. Industrial Generac generator power. Your business, commercial facilities, arco.com, arco.com. ARCCO, arco.com. All right, that'll do it for us here. Missed anything, catch AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Muse Pauly, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. With locations all over South Louisiana, they will sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. They'll keep you coming back because they treat you like family. That's what they've done since 1968 when Mr. Charlie opened up the doors, and they've continued to roll along with that same focus ever since. Miss Beth, amazing job running Shawbills now, second-generation ownership. I'm so pleased to be partnered with them here every single day to tell you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. The bottom line is, when it comes to work on your vehicle, most of us don't know what to do. That's why we bring it to an auto service shop like Shawbills, because we don't know. But you want someone trustworthy who's going to do great work at a fair price. That's Shawbills. They're going to treat you like family. Schedule service online. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.